Good morning from Victoria International Airport. My name is Alex, and welcome to this special trip report. Today, I'm trying out a new airline for me, Pacific Coastal, on a short flight over to Vancouver. Pacific Coastal Airlines, or Pasco, is a Canadian regional airline that flies within British Columbia and also operates flights for WestJet Link in Alberta. They're primarily based out of the South Terminal at Vancouver International Airport and have a fleet of Saab 340s and Beechcraft 1900s. I'll be flying on one of their Beechcraft 1900Cs on board Pacific Coastal Flight 1524. This isn't the first time I've flown a BEECH 1900, but it is my first time flying the BEECH 1900C, which is a bit smaller than the 1900D that I flew with Air Georgian in April. As someone who's 6'8" but loves flying, this'll be interesting. This is also my first time flying through Victoria, and as I understand it, they recently opened this expanded departure lounge, which has plenty of seating and looks very stylish. We'll be departing from Gate 7 today, which, like most gates in this part of the terminal, is for ground loading only. Here's our aircraft for today's flight, arriving from Kelowna, Charlie Foxtrot Papa Charlie X-Ray, a 33-year-old Beechcraft 1900C. Now, full disclosure, this flight was actually made possible by a subscriber of mine at Pacific Coastal. They reached out to me a few months ago to use one of their buddy passes on me in exchange for a trip report on their aircraft. So, a huge thank you to them. I really appreciate the support and the chance to fly with a new airline like this. Boarding started right on time, and without further ado, let's see what it's like to fly on Pasco's BEECH 1900C. From outside, the 1900C looks deceptively well proportioned, until I realized I almost had to crawl to get into the aircraft. Pasco has an open seating policy, so I picked 2A, which was pretty tight even for this 20-minute flight. The difference in headroom is very noticeable, and the seats are actually reclined a bit to make up for that. However, there's no flight deck door on these 19-seat aircraft, so I figured I'd get a different angle through the front instead, plus the BEECH 1900 equivalent of an exit row. Each seat has a small air vent and some in-flight reading, which I'll go over later. In the meantime, here's our departure from Victoria, starting up, taxiing, and taking off from runway 27. The Pacific Northwest is home to some truly stunning scenery, and I really do need to visit more often. On this BEECH 1900, Pacific Coastal has a standard safety card, an air sickness bag, and an in-flight magazine. As you can see, Victoria to Vancouver is by far Pasco's shortest route, and is usually flown at an altitude of just 3,000 feet. For any aviation enthusiast though, the views in front are insane, and although there's no jump seat on this aircraft, seat 1A is probably the next best thing. Minutes later, Vancouver came into view, and we landed shortly afterwards on runway 08 right.
Transportation is provided free of charge to the domestic and international terminal if you require this.
Since this flight was so short, there's not a ton to say, but I think the footage speaks for itself. In total, we spent just 18 minutes in the air, and that's probably my only complaint about the flight. For an aviation enthusiast like me, this was a lot of fun, and I honestly didn't want it to end. Everyone at Pasco was very friendly, and it really was a fun airline to fly with. BEECH 1900s are a great change of pace from the airliners that we're all used to, and this flight was no exception. I'll definitely be flying with Pasco again. Thanks once again to the very generous person who made this flight possible, and thank you very much for watching this trip report with British Columbia's Airline. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.